Oh, greetings, gamers, and welcome to the 83rd live stream from the Misfit Gamer Studios. I'm your host, Vortex, and this is D&D Discussions. On today's episode of Homebrew Showcase, we have the second in a duo class series, or not a duo class, a duo character series submitted to us by Hizboar. Now, this particular class, it's going to be another subless class, so there's no subclasses to this. It's going to be a complete class. This is the second in a duo character set that is designed for Hizboar setting and specific gaming sessions. So both of these are going to be played by characters. This one is going to be more of like a servant to the one that we've previously reviewed, which was the Godly Entertainment. So that class we've reviewed first. This is going to be kind of their sidekick character that is also supposed to be played by a player. So it's going to be kind of interesting. Again, it is a subless class, so it is supposed to be a little bit heavy-handed, but that is because it's supposed to be a little bit all-encompassing, because it's not supposed to be divvied out or specialized in, which I really do like because it kind of harkens back to second edition days. But yeah, really was a lot of fun to review Godly Entertainment. So we're really looking forward to this one and seeing what this one can do in conjunction with the other. So yeah, we're going to kind of jump into that here in just a few minutes. See some people in chat. So let me get Kage in right now. What is up, my dude? I left the door open, so let me get that while you kind of greet everybody.
Yes, indeed. What's happening, my friends? How is everyone doing? Very, very excited to be here. Another one of these very cool classes from Hizboar. Can't wait to see what we got going on. Also excited that we got some other posts, Drabs. I love to see you in chat. Also giving us another submission. I'm very excited for that one as well.
Absolutely,
I think that was a wizard subclass, like a revised. I don't know if it was necromancy or something.
It was,
like that.
yes. It has something to do with necromancer. So I am really
interesting. But
I'm excited for that one.
I'm excited to see what's going on with that. But yeah, it's a good weekend, chill, relax. We're back at it again, so I'm here for it.
Absolutely. So yeah, I got to get this thing done real quick. I kind of dragged my feet and didn't get it opened right before stream, so just gonna take me a couple seconds here.
That's all right.
That up.
Hopefully we can get Hizboar out here for all right, let me go check Discord, see if they're online at all.
If Hizboar's online. So updates, y'all. Updates. We do have some updates today. Kind of like having updates on Mondays. It's kind of seems to be when we do have the most updates. All right. So we have our item for today. We have an item submitted by Drabs for next week. So after that, we will have nothing on the books. So if you guys have anything,
we should have another Hizboar item.
Oh, that's right. We're hoping for the
haven't got actually submitted
thing, right?
Yes.
With all of the. It's almost like it reminds me of like a deck of many things, but it's different.
Yes, it's supposed to be a class.
It's a class.
I think it's a class based around tarot cards.
Oh, okay.
Based on using tarot cards to do different things. I feel like
that's going to be very interesting because that gives me what's the cloak that has all the patches on it.
Yeah, useful items. Useful items, something like that.
So it's like add that with a deck of many things and slap that together as a class. Is kind of what I'm getting vibes on. So
lightweight.
I really hope that we get that in the next couple weeks or in the next couple days, because again, next Monday is our last item right now. So we'd like to get some more. If you guys want to submit anything for a homebrew review or a homebrew showcase, you could submit that in our wrong button. I can't see my little board here.
Rude.
But yeah, you can submit that to our Discord. So go ahead and join that community if you are so inclined. You could submit topics, you can submit homebrew review, or you can just chat with us. I cannot talk today. It has been. I've been
Words
so
are hard,
busy this
man.
weekend. It's like I was not prepared for this. Monday just kind of like
Just kind of hit you quick.
yeah.
It's like, oh, we're here already.
Like I just had such a weekend, and then all of a sudden it was like a couple hours ago. I'm like, oh yeah, Kage's coming over. I got to get like ready for this. I was not ready to be on camera, but it's fine. I'm here.
We made it work. We made it work.
But yeah, so other than homebrew review, Fridays. So we have discussed the next couple deep dives or deeper discussions. So this Friday, we were going to do part 2 of the Complete Psionics Handbook. So we are going to complete the Complete Psionics Handbook. The last sections that we have are psionic combat, so how the psionicist is used in combat. And then we're going to go over all of the disciplines, including all of the sciences and devotions, basically all of the psionic powers. That is going to be next Friday, or this coming Friday. The following Friday, what we will be doing is actually kind of doing a bridge. We are going to continue with the psionic topic, but we are going to be bridging in a new episodic series that we might be diving into over time, which is bringing more and more gaming of High Point and within High Point to the stream. So what we're going to be doing on that Friday is discussing building out a character from a new player's point of view. So Kage is going to come to me with an idea for a psionicist, basically as a new character, or a new player, I should say, as a new player would come to me for High Point. And we're going to walk through exactly what I do when I bring someone on board and they want to create a new character, and exactly how I help them out, the questions that I ask them, and how I envelop them in the world, how I decide where to place them, what their choices and what their descriptions of their characters actually mean for High Point and where that places them. So to kind of give you guys a better view, because we haven't really given a lot of examples, we've talked about it, but this will be the first time to show you what the character creation process is in High Point, and with me as a DM. And then after that, hopefully that will open up more opportunities for us to showcase more classes, either my own personal ones or other ones from 2nd edition, and compare them to 5th edition, more character creation examples in the course of High Point. And then once we feel like we have a good couple examples of how the initiation process of getting a campaign going in High Point is with those character creation episodes, we're then hoping to hopefully in the next couple months start actually picking up one of our old gaming sessions back on live stream. So we've mentioned before, and we have a few episodes on the YouTube channel for the Old Gods campaign that we started many years ago at this point. I mean, it's been over 5 years at this point.
Is it really?
2019, was it? Yeah, 2019 I think is when we first started.
Crazy.
So it's been
That's
like 5 years
long.
since we've recorded this. They're terrible recordings, by the way, but I literally have,
I still like them.
I think we have 6 episodes posted. I probably have 2 seasons worth of content. And I mean seasons as in probably 30 episodes a season. So I probably have like anywhere from,
Goodness.
I would say
that's our better quality stuff too.
Later it is.
Yes.
The first like 10 to 15 episodes would be terrible quality, but yes, I have over a year's worth of gaming content, and we gamed almost weekly.
That's crazy.
We gamed almost weekly and recorded it all.
I genuinely didn't realize it was that much.
We have so much.
That's so cool.
If I can ever get to a point to where I can get
grind
that
through that,
to at least like I may never personally be able to edit all of it, but if I could ever get it to a point to where we could listen to it and it be audibly, like okay. I wouldn't mind releasing it even unedited, because it is a lot of good content. But what we want to do is, behind the scenes, myself, Kage, and my wife, Vixie, want to re-listen to at least what we can. So I need to try to at least process it for a way that we can listen to it. We kind of want to get caught up on that process, because we haven't gamed that in many years. But what we would like to do is maybe by the end of this year, start gaming that again on stream. So
that would be very cool.
It would motivate me to put out the previous episodes so people could get caught up with what's happened since. but we also need to get caught up. And between now and then, because it's going to take us a long time to get caught up. I mean, we have as I said, I have hundreds of hours of gaming content that's all unedited. So it's even harder to go through because it isn't nice and clean. It's all of the pauses. It's all of the snacks and the eating and the arguments and the checking the rules and the doing the calculations. It's all of the stuff you don't want to see in an episode. So when it comes to that, hopefully both by the time we can actually start gaming, we'll have a couple examples of what it's like to start up in High Point. Because like I said, I feel like I represent a slightly different experience than most people do when it comes to D&D. And as a DM, I want to at least present that before we start gaming. So you guys can kind of understand the difference between gaming along a story and what we consider gaming as part of the story. And I really want to represent that by doing these character creations and these class features. So that's kind of a lot of the updates that we've decided recently. Other than that, no other big updates. Homebrew Review and Homebrew Showcase are slotted to continue as long as we can keep getting updates. And Deeper Discussions on Fridays is going to continue. Right now we have Psionics as the next 2 weeks. And then after that, we have a couple other submissions from you guys. We do have submissions for topics that you guys can do in the Discord as well. So we do have the history of multiclassing. So our viewer Cosmic had an interesting idea for a topic regarding tri-classing and whether or not people use that. And I wanted to kind of use that as a good launching point because it's a good topic, but I think representing the history, because we've kind of been doing that recently and I've really been liking those episodes.
Yes.
Mainly because it's a nice refresher for me. And I think it also helps give us a lot of context when we make our opinions, because knowing a little bit more is always helpful for us.
Definitely.
So I wanted to take that topic of tri-classing and whether or not it's used and branch that into a history of multi-classing with a specific focus on the difference between dual multi-classing and tri-multi-classing, when each were introduced, how they were introduced, and see, because I want to say I don't know. I think Cosmic was alluding to the idea with this topic that tri-classing isn't done very much. And I know in my experience, I've done it quite a bit in my early gaming history with a second edition, and I have seen it done in several of the Discord 5e games that I've done.
It was very popular in this one Discord that I was in.
I don't know personally how
infrequent it is.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't know how popular it is, so I want to do that research as well. I want to do a history on multi-classing, but I also want to do a more specific look at what is the nature of tri-classing and what is the acceptance level right now. Is it common? Is it not common? And where it is. Because I have some, initial opinions, right? Like, I mean, my knee-jerk reaction says that it's probably not done as much. If that's the case, it's probably because of all the subclasses. That would be my knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah.
Is with the flood of subclasses in 5th edition, there's no need to tri-class because it would actually hinder your development. Because even multi-classing, 5th edition, I don't want to say intentionally ruin multi-classing, but they really hindered a lot of the multi-classing benefits because you can get things faster and better with the specified subclasses than you can with the creative multi-classing. You miss out
on a lot of stuff when you dive too deep into different classes, right?
So that was my knee-jerk reaction, and I kind of didn't want to leave it at that. I didn't want to kind of just have a topic of, well, that's why. I really wanted to understand it. So yeah, we're going to do a whole episode on multi-classing.
That's good.
We have a whole episode. Oh, what was it? I don't have it up in front of me. We had a couple other episode ideas.
We do.
You had one that you submitted that you wanted to talk about.
It looks like there was the Simulacrum shenanigans, as well as
history of Simulacrum,
and then multi-class versus dual classing. So that's specifically in 2nd edition. So
yes, that's a 2nd edition concept because we're going to do more 2nd edition ideas. But 2nd edition has two concepts of multi-classing and dual classing. So that is a different topic to the history of multi-classing, and those may be covered too. We may cover that in the same episode, but I don't know.
Okay.
So the history of Simulacrum, that's going to be fun too, because Simulacrum, as far as I know, I think it first appeared in AD&D. I don't think it was in the prior editions. I don't know if it was in Gygax's realm or if it wasn't until the publication of Advanced Dungeons & Dragons First Edition, because that was where I remember it being first published. I remember Simulacrum in AD&D First Edition.
Interesting.
But I really want to figure out...
It feels like a truly OG spell, one that's
really
been
does.
around since Fireball.
I would not be surprised if Simulacrum is in the original, so we are going to do a history check on that as well. So yeah, that's kind of some of the updates, some of the things that you guys can look forward to
Sweet.
After the Psionic episode series.
Right on.
Excellent. Man, we have so much chat today. Fantastic. Thank you guys. It's awesome to see you guys all in
sadly,
chat.
no Hizboar yet.
Freeman, what is up? How is it going? Glad you were here. Are they online at all?
Negative.
Well, that is unfortunate. I am willing to give them, they were here for the last one, and I think they even came late on the last one.
Okay.
So it may just be that's their time frame.
That's fair.
But actually, you know what we can do real quick is I can this.
A quick refresher?
We can just do a very quick refresher on the other class that is again the primary class. I would say that this is like the main character of the story, and again, it's more like the sidekick. It's like the superhero and the sidekick, right?
Got you. Batman and his Robin.
Yeah. Let's do a quick little look here at
Chickadee chat.
Bam. Okay, so was it last Friday or the Friday before we had God the Entertainer?
It was last Monday.
Or last Monday. Okay,
Yeah.
So last Monday we did God the Entertainment.
Wait. Nope, belay my last. Last week was Cosmics.
That's what I thought. Okay, so this was 2 weeks ago. That's
It was
right.
2 weeks ago.
It was 2 weeks ago. So 2 weeks ago we did Godly Entertainment, which you can find that episode on our YouTube channel, our VOD channel. I will post that one more time in the chat. Unfortunately, you guys who are watching this on YouTube, you will probably not be able to click on that, so you will just have to go and find the episode. I highly suggest you watch that first, because with Godly Entertainment, this is, like we said, kind of the superhero, the main character of this campaign, meant to be played by a player. And I feel like I'm just too shiny. Meant to be played by a player. Now, the one that we're going to review today, called the Aberration, this is also meant to be played by a player, but it's kind of the sidekick, servant, secondary character that's meant to be attached to the Godly Entertainment, right? This is supposed to be, and I think it's even mentioned in the Godly Entertainment class. So
Okay, so this is also going to be a first for us, because this is going to be the first time where you know more about this class than I do.
That's all I know, is I just remember it being mentioned when he submitted it.
Because you actually reviewed the Aberration before.
That's right, I did.
So you went over it before, gave some feedback on it.
So this was submitted in Homebrewing in our Discord.
Yes.
I gave... Essentially, what I did was, instead of doing it like a homebrew review, I essentially went through every section and just gave my knee-jerk reactions per section. So instead of looking at it as a whole, I just said, I read this, these are my thoughts. You said this, these are my thoughts. And instead of saying, I think you should change all of these, it was more of I just tried to give as much creativity and ideas. And I believe that Hizboar took that and did some modifications. I have no idea if those modifications were anything that I'd said.
There are definitely some modifications. Like, there's an entire section that wasn't there before. So you'll definitely see some new things, that's for sure. But again, just like the Godly Entertainment, it was so well laid out. I practically had to do nothing to it except transfer it straight into here.
Maybe we'll go over some of my notes too of the original. I don't know if I wish Hizboar was here, because I wanted to talk to Hizboar about whether or not they would like that. Whether I should kind of
go over,
not necessarily review the original and then the second, but more about kind of point out what I said about it. And just said, here were the notes that I gave, kind of roughly go through that, and then see if we can see those notes in the new one. But
I probably should have kept the other one instead of overriding it.
It's fine. Yeah. But yeah, so Godly Entertainment was really interesting. So essentially, this was it's a subless class, so it's a self-contained class, and it is entertainment, not entertainer. And essentially, this was a class that was also meant more as a curse, in a sense, where you are the entertainment of the god. But it's not so much a bad thing as it is it's not so much you're the court jester of a god,
right,
as is you are almost instead of being his right-hand man, like the go-to, you go do my bidding, it's almost like you're the one step down from that. It's like, I want you to go do my bidding, but it's not important bidding.
Why does it feel like, and I think you might have mentioned this last time we talked about it, it really feels like some Proton stuff.
Yes, from the Apprentice of Death
Yes.
series. It definitely feels
like
more like
you're the
god
champion
is like a citizen.
of yes.
Exactly. And that's kind of what this is, right? Is the idea is that the gods have assigned you. You're not like the right-hand man. You're not protecting him. You're not doing like, major things, but you are going out on your god's behalf. And essentially, you're having bets placed on you or against you by your god and other gods. And the campaign is set around pleasing your god and thwarting the other god's progress with that. And that's why it's godly entertainment, because you're not doing things to progress their hold. It's not the typical D&D fashion of you're like a holy warrior. It's more of the sense of you're there to do things that they're betting you can or can't do. And other gods are trying to do things that will also get in your way or help you.
Yes.
And it sounds really interesting.
Very tactical. Like, I'm curious what his pantheon looks like. All of these gods are just out here. I'm not gonna lie, I watched that anime, Zeus's Child or something like that. Some Netflix anime. It's okay, but it depicted the Greek pantheon very intriguingly. Like, everyone was just, it almost, what are those shows, those reality shows that Lightweight felt like a reality show, but anime. And I'm like, all right, let's go. Anyways,
I'm kind of just going through this a little bit too. It was really interesting to see this kind of build, because you had these abilities. It's almost like it had this rage. It's almost like it had a version of rage where you would go into, this curtain call, you would gain these plot twist points, and then you would be able to use that to gain benefits differently in combat. We talked a lot of different ways about balancing that and what, you may be able to do. But that was really cool. Like I said, really interesting class. It was much more about, I feel like this one, because we kept trying to remind ourselves this is not a standard D&D gameplay. This is as if, even though this is a first level, like it is starting at first level, this first level should take place after your character was a 20th level.
I'm curious if Aberration is the same way.
I'm hoping so, because like I equated this in High Point to immortal level gameplay, where after you've managed to get to 20th level or gamed enough, you can essentially in High Point you can make immortalhood or godhood by ascending. And this almost sounds like that first level ascension, where now you're playing on a whole different playing field. And that's what this was. A lot of this feels very overpowered, but again, it's not your standard gameplay of dungeon delving and going and doing things. The combat is not rare, but it is not consistent. You know what I mean? It's more about you're doing these things because they are more or less a byproduct of your representation of your god, and less about the campaign is combat focused, right? So like the abilities, we talked about how much damage it does, but you're not really sitting there attempting to go through dungeons and go through all these people and have all that damage dealt. It's, if you're in that situation of doing damage, it's meant to be a show of force and kind of meant to be representative. And I think that's really key, is it's not supposed to be a tool. It's it's more of like, what's the word? Like most things you get in combat in D&D are tools. They're things to benefit you, get you better in combat, and to give you the upper hand. Whereas combat's not meant to be that much of a challenge in this particular setting. It's more representative of how do you get, like how you win versus
how do you perform.
If you win. Yeah. Because this one, it felt so OP that we started to realize it's definitely more about how you win, not if you win. Like this one isn't really meant to kill you, but it's definitely meant to, you're going to win. You're going to be too powerful. You're not going to die. But if you don't do it good enough, if you don't do it well enough, if you don't do it spectacularly enough, or if you don't do it in a challenging way enough, like you don't complete a challenge that was set before you, you may lose favor, or your god may lose a bet. You know, kind of like a video game when you can go in guns blazing or stealth, but you don't know that your god is betting that you're going to go in stealth. But if you accidentally trip up and trigger them, and then you have to go in guns blazing, you're going to win. You have all of these amazing abilities that you're going to wipe the floor with.
But you failed
But he's going to lose a bet that you didn't know you had because he intended you to go in silent, right? And that's kind of what I really like about this setting and what he's presented is it does kind of feel like that. It feels like you could really approach so many different gaming sessions, right? You could have a stealth gaming session. You could have a straight up arena fight session. You can have hey, go assassinate this person, but don't be silent about it. Like assassinate them in the most publicly, amazing way to prove a point.
It needs to like everybody needs to know.
And you need to know that it doesn't matter where you are, right? You could literally be in the middle of all your guards and we're going to get you. Like, there's just so many different ways that the way that this character represents and this class represents. Again, I think we ended on the fact that it's kind of unique in the fact that not everybody could do it, but the right DM with the right setting could really take this and actually like run with it. And the right player could have a lot of fun, but I think a lot of players would struggle, not because players aren't creative. I think a lot of players would struggle because most players I don't think are creative in this way with D&D. They're creative in their builds. They're not creative in their implementation. And I think that's what we've talked a lot about, right?
But I think this would hopefully point people to being better about it. It's like giving people an opportunity to think in a way that maybe they hadn't in the past. And now, oh my gosh, now I'm starting to see all these other ideas. Oh, I saw how cool he did something. He turned that guy into a... That's disrespectful.
Hello?
Testing. What happened to stream?